Hello, welcome back to the channel if you're the one person who's been clicking on my videos. Right, I've had some intuitions about God. Ooh. Look like fucking Dax Flame. I have been reading the Kabbalion. It's a Hermetic philosophical text compiled together by the three initiates. Now, I'm going to explain what this is because most of the people watching this are the one person who has stumbled upon this channel from Overwatch gameplays. Won't be familiar with the teachings of Hermes Trismegistus, who was a philosopher way back when, I don't know the period, in ancient Greece and Egypt. So there are 7 principles which I can't remember, and it doesn't even matter for me to remember them because all the principles blend into one. They all merge into one, which is the belief in the all in all. The all is made up of all. That the universe is mental. Now, there are principles from that, like mental gender, that the me is feminine, that's the aspiration is feminine, and the I is masculine, which is the doing. I realized after learning about the principle of polarity, where we're always in motion, we're always vibrating, two things that are the opposite, and this relates to, I think, correspondence. As above, so below. As below, so above. So you reach a point where hot is cold, cold is hot, light is dark, I guess, dark is light. It's very nebulous and confusing to the novice, but I wanted to share my latest insight related to these principles, which is that due to the higher planes and the lower planes of existence, that we're all on different planes of vibrations, and I have a mental image of what you might look like, you have a mental image of what I look like and what I do outside of this video. Like, if you associate me with Akuma, then you're going to think, oh yeah, he jacks off all the time in real life, which is a half-truth. But the half-truth that I realized is that God is a conduit of energy. Energy is, I mean, it could appear still, but it's always in motion. It can never be created or destroyed, so energy is traveling through the universe. I may have misinterpreted this. I could be wrong, but let's examine the facts. That energy circulating throughout the universe, circulating and passing through all of us. giving us a life and taking life to create new life, if that's resurrection, if reincarnation is the law of thermodynamics, the second law that energy can never be created or destroyed, only transmuted, if then reincarnation, which I still have a hard time believing because I come from a naturalist background, meaning, well, I suppose it could be related to naturalism. It means that everything evolves naturally. I mean, this is pretty much naturalism because you don't have to let go of any of your beliefs to and science to follow Hermes Trismegistus. So, and he's just a lecturer, like he isn't God, but yeah, the energy gets taken around and the energy is everywhere. God has spread that, or the all in all, you could say God spread that energy out everywhere. He's taking it all across the universe, and it's an energy that you can sense through attention, focus. Eckhart Tolle mentions this, although he doesn't believe in the. I mean, I guess kind of, because you have the ego. The ego is the I. So it's completely different, but more or less you can take the philosophy of Trismegistus and apply it to anything. But the attention, the symbol for God is the dove, the Holy Spirit. That's the dove, the white dove. And if you don't know that, then look it up. Some denominations of Christianity use the dove to represent the Holy Spirit. Others might say, oh, that's blasphemy, you'll go to hell forever for that. But we're talking about the teachings of Trismegistus here. If you pay close attention to the noise going on behind me and you look at the cat for quite some time, just observe the cat and have no thoughts. Well, if you have thoughts, just bring your attention back to the cat. Just stop being a bitch, stop being a pussy. And focus on the cat for a long enough time, then you will sense the divine vibrations of the universe. If you are, because like the all in all, it's fair to say that we are the all in all, but the all in all is separate from us. That whatever way you flip the coin, it's a half truth and you're just seeing one side to the grand picture. So imagine that you're in a forest and you're completely alone, just a few cannibals in the background, surrounded by trees, smudgings of berries, blue, red, nightshade, and they're all around you, and you are in the middle of the forest, in the middle of the trails, and your consciousness, or whatever is perceiving the consciousness, suppose the all in all is the space behind the consciousness. It's the wall, it's the canvas of which we're all painted on, because we're all mental. We all exist inside the consciousness of the all in all. but I suppose you're perceiving the all in all once the clouds that obscure the scenery, the divine scenery around you, they're gone, and the clouds are thoughts, the clouds are I am this, I am that. And instead you're just I am, and you're just the scenery around you. You are that scenery, you are a part of the picture. You are a part of the all in all, and the all in all is a part of you. As above, so below, as below, so above. Grateful for having these realizations. The belief in karma, that the lower forms are related to the higher forms, they're all linked together. The lower forms are linked to the, you can see my hands gesturing, higher forms. As above, so below. As below, so above. If you use the teachings of Hermes Trismegistus to get your own way with something like, I don't know what that means, you use it to blackmail people on the internet, I don't know. But you intimidate and threaten them, capture people and ask them to recite the teachings of Hermes to you. I honestly don't know how you can abuse these teachings. Maybe my ears are closed for the time being to what this all actually means. Maybe I'm not ready. But you will be sent back to a lower form of life, and I'm sure this relates to Buddhism, Hinduism. You can relate it to any religion, really. You can relate it to anything. I mean, the belief in heaven and hell. Yes, heaven and hell do exist. I've carried the notion in my brain for quite some time, and please check out my previous videos in the God series. That'd be very much appreciated. This is a non-profit channel. I'm not going to make any money out of it. I'm just here to share my views and educate people. So, I mentioned that heaven and hell could just be a state of mind, and of course my knowledge was shallow back then. I was drawing on the philosophy of Jordan Peterson, who was drawing on the philosophy of Paradise Lost, a book which I have yet to get around to reading, because there was some quote in there which is esoteric and carried with it arcane knowledge. That is a half-truth. And I have another half-truth. You've got to understand that the principle of polarity is that everything has a half-truth. Everything is half true and half false. And you'll hear me mention this a lot on my channel now, because this could be applied to anything. And if you want to increase, I know, your vibrations, because this could be related to even the law of attraction, then you got to realize that heaven and hell at least could just be states of consciousness, mind and no mind.